For decades, we've been searching for it. True global football relevance. But 2026? Yeah, 2026 could change absolutely everything. We are staring down the barrel of the most pivotal moment in American soccer history. The ultimate stakes, playing out entirely on home soil. So the massive question we have to ask is, can the USMNT finally become a true football nation, or is this dream already unfinished?
Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're breaking down the official 26-man roster, the make-or-break squad, and the fast-paced tactical battles that are going to completely define America's tournament. Let's get right into it, because the decisions made by Mauricio Pochettino and his staff have just set the stage for an absolutely spectacular and, honestly, pretty volatile summer.
Section 1. The Rise of the USMNT. To really grasp the weight of 2026, we have to look back at the cinematic journey, right? It all started with that historic home World Cup back in '94 that planted the seed. Then we had Clint Dempsey's fiery breakthrough in 2006. Fast forward to 2022, we saw the youngest squad in the tournament gain some vital experience over in Qatar. And now we've arrived at the golden generation. These guys have been forged in the absolute fires of Europe's top leagues, playing for heavyweights like AC Milan, Juventus, and Monaco. The training wheels are officially off.
And look at this, 13 returning World Cup veterans. This squad has actually matured. They left Qatar with a bit of hurt, and now that battle-tested core is coming back with a massive chip on their shoulder. They know exactly what that World Cup pressure cooker feels like.
Section 2. The Weapons. Taking a look at the 2026 squad. It all starts right here with Christian Pulisic, the talisman, the so-called LeBron James of soccer. He is the crucial, experienced leader of this attack. He's played at the absolute highest levels in Europe, finding massive club success recently at AC Milan. But make no mistake about it, the undeniable pressure of an entire nation rests heavily on his shoulders to perform when the lights are at their absolute brightest.
But he won't be alone up there. Enter Folarin Balogun. He's coming off a stellar, incredibly strong finishing season at Monaco. Balogun is exactly what the U.S. has been desperately searching for, an explosive, dynamic center forward. He is totally poised to be the absolute tip of the spear for this team. And right behind that attack, we have the engine room, Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie. Adams provides this relentless, pitbull energy. He just wants to go out there and hunt the ball down. McKennie brings that dynamic box-to-box dominance. Together, they are literally the heartbeat of this team. If those two are ticking, the U.S. is incredibly dangerous.
Section 3. Fast-paced tactical outlook.
So how are they actually going to play? The core strategy is transition football, rapidly shifting from defense to attack to catch the opponent completely off guard. Balogun's speed and transition is going to be lethal here. Picture Pulisic feeding him the ball quickly. The U.S. is perfectly built to launch devastating counterattacks against strong, possession-heavy opponents.
But here's the thing, transition football only works if you actually win the ball back. That's why the U.S. is completely reliant on a double pivot, specifically that partnership of Adams and McKennie to lock down the midfield, dictate the tempo, and protect the backline.
Now, what happens when the U.S. isn't playing a superior team? What if they're up against a team that just sits back in a low block, like Paraguay or Australia in the group stage? Well, that's when you need a lock picker. And that is Gio Reyna. Against teams that basically hand the U.S. possession and dare them to break down a wall of defenders, Reyna's unique creative flair and his eye for that final pass is the absolute tactical key.
Section 4. The Fatal Flaws.
Now, no cinematic journey is complete without some tension, right? Take a look at this quote from our sources. If Tyler Adams goes down, we're screwed. There's no backup. It's a terrifying reality. Tyler Adams has become arguably the most important player on the roster. Yet, shockingly, Pochettino left Tanner Tessman, who is a true defensive midfielder, off the roster. So if Adams gets injured, the drop-off in that vital number 6 role is massive.
Then we've got the controversy, the omission of Diego Luna. This guy epitomizes attitude, desire, and just a fearless mentality. People were drawing comparisons to a young Clint Dempsey. He was heavily marketed, yet he got totally snubbed. And to make matters worse, according to reports, the preliminary squad members were informed of their fate via a mass corporate email. It sparked huge fan and media outrage over leaving such a fiery, creative playmaker at home.
And then there's this really alarming reality. Exactly zero international goals for Christian Pulisic in 2024 leading up to the tournament. Despite his brilliant, resurgent form for his club, the American talisman has really struggled to find the back of the net for his country lately.
Listen, if the US is going to make a deep run, he absolutely has to step up on the international stage.
Finally, let's talk about the defense. The center-back vulnerability. You've got Chris Richards, who is solid, but alongside him, you're potentially pairing him with a 38-year-old veteran in Tim Ream. With pretty inconsistent depth behind them, there's extreme anxiety that this backline might just completely crumble when they face elite, world-class attackers.
Section 5. The Ultimate Football Nation? So, taking in all the weapons, the tactics, and yeah, those terrifying flaws, what's it going to take to push past the round of 16, survive this brutal tournament, and actually shock the world? The answer might just be the Morocco blueprint. Think back to 2022. Morocco didn't have a roster packed with global superstars from top to bottom. Instead, they relied on absolute, unbreakable team spirit and relentless defensive sacrifice. Every single player, from 1 to 11, was willing to throw their body on the line. If the USMNT wants to topple the Giants, they have to replicate this pure, unified fight.
Which leaves us with this final, lingering thought. Look at the talent we have, look at the immense stakes, and look at the glaring flaws. Do you believe this generation can finally make history on home soil? Because if you aren't ready to embrace the hope, the drama, and the absolute chaos of this upcoming World Cup, well, what's the point of watching? I challenge you to keep these tactical insights in mind as the tournament unfolds. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and enjoy the beautiful game.